Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. I want to share with you a thread from attorney John Deaton, which he shared earlier today, titled The William Hinman Conflict of Interest. How bad was it? And spoiler alert, it's pretty damn bad so far as I'm concerned, and I think that you're going to agree. But anyway, this is a really thoughtful thread, and I think you'd find it interesting, so here it is, being covered in the latest Moon Lambeau hot jam. But before we get going with this bitch, I do want to be clear. I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. So I'll note in the first tweet, he retweeted something that he put out just a few days ago, July 27th, and that thread I actually did highlight in a separate video. And he was pointing out effectively, Hinman, if you look at what's happened with his firm, I'm sure many of you have heard at this point, his firm, Simpson Thacher, they have left the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. And so, in a general sense, it seems like Attorney Deaton's thinking this is going to kind of set him up to say, look, not only was it not that big of a deal, but I didn't even know that Simpson Thacher was part of the EEA. That's how little of a deal this is, which I think is perfectly reasonable to suppose, for sure. And then Attorney Deaton continues, and he says, for over a year, I wouldn't accuse Hinman of violating the law. I only maintained that he may have, and that the appearance of impropriety deserved an investigation. Since then, however, we've learned that Empower Oversight caught the SEC in a lie, trying to cover up the issue. And so I'll just pause to note, Empower Oversight is the firm, the not-for-profit entity, that sued the SEC in December over FOIA nonsense, which I've covered previously. Anyway, Attorney Deaton continues. The SEC claimed there were no emails or documents responsive to Empower Oversight's FOIA request. Empower sued the SEC in federal court and discovered that there are, in fact, emails related to a conflict, and the SEC was forced to turn some of those emails over. Pause. Just think about this. Isn't it funny how that works out? No such documents exist, what you're asking for, so we can't give it to you. Then they get sued and like, oh, never mind, here they are, they're right here. Oops, we made a little update. Isn't it funny how an actual lawsuit is, you got to do, just to prod those little pricks at the SEC, you got to actually sue those little asshats. Well, that's what it took, and it worked. So, very thankful for Empower Oversight because we did learn that this goes much deeper. Attorney Deaton continues. After reading those emails, it is obvious that Hinman was in violation of the criminal financial conflict laws of the United States. This is not an allegation, it is a fact. And I'll just note that last sentence. He wrote in all caps, for emphasis, there's a reason. This isn't some sort of opinion where you could disagree. It's not that. It's not an allegation. As stated by Deaton, it is a fact. And then he continues. Some might argue this is my opinion. Nope. If I gave an opinion and was wrong, I could be liable to Hinman for libel, slander, and defamation. He's welcome to sue me because truth is a complete defense against defamation. As a former federal prosecutor, this is an easy case to prove. I just gotta tell you, I love that. He's like, bring it, Hinman. You can even sue me. But that's how strong the case is against Hinman here. That's the point. He's saying, go ahead, Hinman. Proof's on my side. You want to go ahead and sue me? Not going to go well for you. And then he continues. When we discuss the conflicts, we usually discuss his speech giving ETH a free pass, while his law firm, Simpson Thacher, was a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. That is a massive conflict. But it is not the only one. He will claim he was unaware of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance membership at the time of the speech. Simpson Thacher is already attempting to help Hinman control the narrative by informing Eleanor Turret, who, by the way, I'll note is a Fox Business journalist, Fox Business Network journalist, that the membership in the EEA was no big deal, and in fact, they are no longer a member. It was a huge deal, and it can't be trivialized. Let me pause. So I covered this as well the day that news broke, because I was like, this is ridiculous. Well, everything about this damn case is ridiculous. But one of the things they stated, and I'll have to paraphrase here admittedly, but it was something to the effect of there was like no monetary consequence as a result of all of this. It was something to that effect. It was, again, I'd have to pull it back up, but when I read that line, I was like, why are you talking about that? You sound guilty. Nobody even brought up any sort of monetary this or that surrounding your membership in the EEA. Why is he talking about that? That just made him look guilty to me. That's the way that I personally interpret it. It just made, it's kind of raised some questions. Looked like a red flag in my humble opinion. Anyway, Attorney Deaton continues. But it wasn't the only huge conflict regarding his relationship with Simpson Thacher. We know about the EEA membership, but Hinman also declared Bitcoin not a security during that speech. Was there ever a Bitcoin connection with Simpson Thacher while Hinman was a director? Of course there was. In 2019, while Hinman was director of corporation finance, Simpson Thacher led the IPO of Canaan, a Chinese company that sells, wait for it, Ethereum and Bitcoin mining hardware. Oh gosh. These are just facts. And by the way, he has the document to prove it on this. It's on your screen right there. It is right here. I'm going to make it, I'm like this bitch full screen for a second. There we go. In all its glory right there. People's Republic of China. Okay. And it's true also, like, I mean, we've all talked about the fact that, yes, he declared Bitcoin and ETH non-securities. We just tend to focus on ETH. Because there are more similarities, when you talk about ETH, or I'm sorry, if you compare XRP to Bitcoin or XRP to ETH, in some ways there are more similarities. Obviously, there's no ICO or anything like that. That's not what I'm getting at. But you know who created it. So there's a stark difference right there. With Satoshi, it's just some shadowy figure. It could be a person or people. But we don't really know for sure. And so, admittedly, in the XRP community, we haven't focused as much on this, but right here, on your damn screen. Much worse than what people thought, isn't it? Anyway, Attorney Deaton continues. After Hinman's division of corporation finance, which is the division that approves IPOs, approved the Simpson Thacher-led Canaan IPO, Canaan was sued for fraud and misrepresentation related to that IPO. And he's got an article linked here, but I'm not going to go through it for the sake of time here. And then Attorney Deaton continues. To truly appreciate the conflict, you must understand Hinman claimed he retired, and in quotes, retired, air quotes, from Simpson Thacher, and was only receiving a pension. Not true. As determined, not by me, but by the SEC ethics chief, he was an active, ongoing profit-sharing partner from Simpson Thacher. And I'm going to make, there's a screen grab here from Attorney Deaton. This is an email, and this is crucial. It's from the individual side here, the SEC chief, I guess so Danae Serrano, I'm sorry, I knew that wasn't right. That person was CC'd. It was from Shira Minton. So that would be the SEC ethics individual calling this out. So this is an email to Bill Hinman on, what's the date here? So it's 2018. So January 25th, I guess if I'm reading that right, there's a weird, why is there no space after that 25 though? Anyway, so I think it's January 25th, 2018. But anyway, in part it reads as follows. Happy to talk live. My Outlook is up to date if you want to schedule something. However, the analysis is the same for Simpson as it's always been. You have a bar under the criminal financial conflict with Simpson Thacher because you have an ongoing financial interest in the firm. Couldn't be more clear, right? He was warned. He was warned about this. Attorney Deaton then continues. That means he was an active partner, not a former retired partner collecting a pension. In 2017, he received $7.8 million in partnership income in addition to $1.5 million in a pension. In 2018, he received $1.8 million in partnership income in addition to a $1.5 million pension. Hinman was being paid pursuant to his then profit-sharing arrangement while he was working at the SEC. In a financial arrangement like Hinman's, strict criminal conflict laws are in effect. And then he shared this little snippet on your screen, which reads as follows, citing the conflicts, obviously, the nature of the conflicts and why this is bad. So this is part of the actual SEC code, conflicting financial interests. This criminal statute prohibits you from participating personally and substantially on behalf of the federal government in any particular matter in which you have a financial interest or certain other people have a financial interest. These other persons include your spouse, minor child, general partner, an organization in which you are an officer, trustee, partner, or employee, and any person or organization with whom you are negotiating with or have an arrangement concerning future employment. That's why I was saying, like, it does look pretty clear. And I've always held back, not having a legal background. I've been careful about the way that I phrase this stuff. I'm not making these specific accusations. John Deaton, bless him. He is a lawyer. He does know 100% what he's doing here. I've been, admittedly, a little bit careful because I'm not going to make the actualization, but I am going to say this looks very peculiar. It looks like there could be some improprieties occurring here. And that's me, admittedly, just kind of dancing around this a little bit just to be safe because I don't trust this dude. I don't need Hinman coming after me. And then what I can't even cover the stuff on my channel anymore. They're like, that's why I've been very careful to not make actual accusations against them, just to be honest. But because if I were going to, I'd need to actually hire an attorney to get my own legal advice on that to talk about this. So rather than deal with that, because I don't think it's necessary and it'd probably just make stuff worse, I've just drawn a line there for myself, which I think is reasonable. Anyway, Attorney Deaton continues. The criminal conflict laws are violated if you allow even the appearance of impropriety to exist. The law is violated even if there is no actual impropriety. When you are an active profit-sharing partner at your law firm, you are not allowed any contact. No emails, no calls. And then there's a quote here. Extraordinary payments from your former employer, end quote, force you to recuse yourself from any appearance issue. Below lists more than $10,000 as extraordinary. I think $15 million qualifies. But you need to understand how Hinman's situation was worse. It wasn't his former employer paying him. He was an active profit-sharing partner at Simpson Thacher. The better the firm did financially, the better he did. Because of that scenario, you must honor the conflict laws. That means no contact, as in none whatsoever. It may seem overly strict to some, but that is the law. And Hinman gave the law and his own ethics chief the middle finger. The SEC emails prove he had 3 more meetings with his law partners after being told to stop by the ethics chief. Imagine reading his non-SEC emails. Yeah, that'd be something. So when Hinman eventually makes a public statement and claims that he didn't know anything about the EEA membership, understand, that is the exact reason you honor the criminal ethics bar and have no contact. If he didn't have any contact, then it wouldn't look as bad as it does. He declared Bitcoin and ETH non-securities. His firm led the IPO of Canaan, which sold Bitcoin and Ether hardware. He was a profit-sharing partner at Simpson, sharing in the profits from fees racked up representing Canaan and others while he was at the SEC. He benefited from his speech. A monkey could prove he was in violation of United States criminal financial conflict laws. He was in violation whether he knew or didn't know about the EEA or the Canaan IPO because he was told to stop meeting his partners at Simpson Thacher, and he continued to do so. I know for a fact that the SEC Ethics Office did not screen Hinman's speech for conflicts. How do I know it for a fact? Because it would take less than 15 minutes for a blind deaf monkey to find the conflicts. The conflict screening on his speech would go something like this. You read the speech. You notice, unlike any other time in SEC history, a senior leader at the SEC is publicly discussing specific tokens and projects and declares Bitcoin and ETH non-securities outside the registration requirements of the SEC. It's huge market-moving news. You immediately make sure Hinman has no conflicts related to Bitcoin and ETH. First thing is making sure he or his family do not own any Bitcoin or ETH. You simply ask him. Hinman answers no. That takes 1 minute to ask or a 1-minute email. Next, you check the law firm paying him. You don't need non-public info from him. You check the public form he filed 6 months earlier, January 2018, and see that Simpson Thacher paid him $7.8 million in 2017 in profits, and that he is going to make more than $4 million in profits for 2018. You then do a basic check into Simpson Thacher. Next, you check if Simpson Thacher has a connection to Bitcoin or ETH. A Google search would have discovered the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance membership. See for yourself below. And there's a video playing. I'm not going to play the actual video for the sake of this video, but it is fantastic. And it does highlight that, just that. If you just Google it, you listening to this, just Google it, yes, it pops up. Anyway, Attorney Deaton continues. The ethics chief told Hinman he couldn't have lunch, talk to, or even email his law firm. So do you think she cleared the speech? I'm going to hazard a guess, folks. No. Attorney Deaton continues. On November 21st, 2019, Chinese mining rig Canaan launched its initial public offering, IPO, a sale of $90 million worth of U.S. shares. Attorney Lin, one of Hinman's partners at Simpson Thacher in China, wanted to meet with Hinman 3 months before the IPO. I'm sure it's a coincidence. And by the way, there is an email on your screen indicating as much. And then it ends with Bill Hinman, August 19th, 2019, saying, should we get a cup of coffee around 3? Bill, that's it. So I think that's where the track ends at this point. Isn't that something? Isn't this curious? These people have no shame. They are so arrogant. They're just in their own little world and their own little connections. They must feel super duper safe, but they're breaking the law, and they probably didn't count on almost 70,000 XRP holders getting really, really upset about how they're attacking our financial freedom and resulting in us looking into their shady past. I bet they didn't really anticipate that, but it has happened, my friends. How about that? Incredible thread by Attorney John Deaton. I love this one. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. So that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.